In this video, I'm going to talk about 5 different things that I've learned in marriage within my 5 months of being married to Alec. And some of those things are going to play into expectation versus reality. I'm just going to be as vulnerable as I can with you guys because I feel like that's the only way that I can do this video and be real. Let's just get started. So the first thing I learned in marriage, and this is kind of a generalized statement that really plays into the rest of the things that I'm gonna talk about, but the overall thing that I think is really important that I learned is that all marriage issues that anyone has ultimately stems from a sin problem. Basically what I'm saying is any issues that I have with Alec usually stem from issues within myself, issues that I have within my relationship with God, and that's where the discord usually comes from, and then it is manifested in my relationship with Alec. So I have to say, within the past 5 months of marriage, we haven't had any seriously huge issues yet. One of the most frequent conflicts that comes up with Alec and I usually stems from miscommunication, and then after that, I get offended or hurt that Alec is not showing as much affection as I would like him to. And, you know, I could point fingers at Alec and be like, you need to do this more, you need to do that more, you need to hug me more, all these things. But at the end of the day, I have to be secure in myself to not need that from him. And when he does give that to me, then it's an added bonus, you know? So I'm not saying that it's all my fault or it's all his fault. It's a team effort, of course, because now that we're married, we're a team, and I can tell him how I feel about something, and he can do what he feels called to do according to that, but I need to be okay if I don't get something that I'm expecting from him. At the end of the day, it's me treasuring my marriage over the one important thing in my life, which is God, or it's just me idolizing Alec as this higher person in my life, and that's not fair to him or God. I think it's important to detect the sin inside of you so that you can reflect and so that you can reflect back and see what issues can be resolved just within yourself. I hope that makes sense. But on a lighter note, the second thing that I've learned about myself is how much I actually do want kids. Before Alec and I got married or even engaged, I mean, kids were always something that I thought I would have eventually, but I never really got excited about it much because I think it was because I wasn't in the life stage. Guys, no. Because I wasn't in the life stage to really think about kids. I wasn't planning on having kids, you know, before getting married, so it's not something that was top of mind, and I really never felt baby fever. But after being married, I definitely feel baby fever, like almost every other day. When we're gonna have kids, I don't know, but all I know is I want them now. I'm just kidding. You know, I think it's all in God's timing. To be honest, I don't think we're in a place to afford to have a kid. Yeah, so that's where we're at with that. But I know that whenever God wills for us to get pregnant, he will provide and he will prepare us for that season to come. Yeah, I definitely did not see myself like being excited about it, I guess. But now I'm very excited about that time, whenever that happens. Third thing is something that I expected from marriage that turns out to be very true is how fun it is. Ever since I can remember, I always knew that I wanted to be married one day, and that I knew that it would be a fun and enjoyable season of life. That's not to say it's not hard. That's not to say that it's not a lot of work, but it's definitely fun. Just thinking about either you coming home to your spouse or your spouse coming home to you every single day and just living life together as one unit is just the most beautiful thing to me. And I just love how everything I do now, I need to consult and talk to Alec about, because we are one entity, we are one unit, we are one household. I knew that responsibility would be heavy, but I also knew that it was going to be wonderful. And to experience such close intimacy with a person is something that my dogs are just being crazy as usual. When they play together, they get really aggressive and they start making noises. So I'm really sorry if you hear that. I might separate them if they keep this up because I'm a hard ass, okay? I will say that the things that aren't as fun that I used to do as a single person are a little bit more enjoyable now that I have Alec to do it with, like laundry, any chores around the house. becomes much more enjoyable when Alec does it with me. Okay, I just want to mention this one truth that I forgot to say in the video. If you don't already love cooking for yourself and cleaning up after yourself and doing all the chores for yourself, that is not going to instantly miraculously change after you get married, and you're not going to love doing it for your spouse. Because I'm not a natural cook, I'm not naturally, you know, organized and like to keep things tidy. I mean, I try to for sure, but it's not something that comes naturally to me. And I remember when I wasn't married yet, I was just like, oh my gosh, I just can't wait to cook for my husband. I can't wait to do all these things for him and to serve him. And not to say I don't serve him now, but it's not easy to do it. It's not any easier to do it for Alec than it is to do for myself. So I hope that makes sense. I don't know if that's the same for most married people, but that's just how it is. I just enjoy doing things with him. And I also love sharing food and sharing a lot of things. That's something he had to learn about me and something he had to adapt to, because he definitely did not like sharing with me in the beginning. Number 4, something that I genuinely did not realize would be something for me to be intentional about is pursuing intimacy. So yeah, I'm talking about sex. I know that the enemy is gonna come into your marriage and he wants to kill, steal, and destroy. He wants to ruin anything that is good. And so to fight against that every day is something I have to remind myself. So anytime we get into a tiff, anytime that I feel annoyed by him, anytime that I feel like he's not doing something, I have to remember this fight is really against the enemy and I am on the same team as Alec. That's something that you have to literally tell yourself, because as humans, we think our enemies are other people, but really your enemy is the enemy, and he's trying to turn you against the people that you love. God, everything that's good, literally. The more and more that you fight against your spouse, the more you're letting the enemy win, essentially. I kind of went off track when I was talking about that, so this is gonna sound bad when I say this. Okay, let me explain. Oh my gosh. So I really think that the reason why people lose connection is because they give up on trying to pursue connection, because there isn't anything in place that's keeping them committed to each other. Eventually, years down the line, you're just going to not have sex with them because you don't feel like it. And I feel like that's how divorce happens. So if you think about it, if you're not committed to something, if you're only doing something because you feel like it, and you base all of your actions and intentions on how you feel about someone, eventually one day, oh my gosh, this is so annoying. It's like, I don't want them to stop playing because I want them to have fun, but I also need to get this video recorded. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just gonna lay it all out there. Okay, before I got married, I can consider myself a sexual human being, because most human beings are sexual beings. And so I didn't think that I would have a problem with prioritizing sex and intimacy. But turns out when you get married, it doesn't become as big of a priority. Okay, if you're waiting to have sex until marriage, then all you can really think about before marriage is sex and how good it's gonna be and how much you're gonna do it, because you have abstained from it this whole time, and this is literally the worst. Denver? Okay, here's what I'm saying. Now that we have peace and quiet, if you're abstaining from sex before marriage, then a lot of the times, a lot of your mind is consumed by how sex is gonna be in marriage, and it's gonna seem like, oh, I'm gonna have sex all the time because I'm married. For those of you who aren't married yet, I hate to break it to you, but that's just not how it is. And sex kind of falls lower and lower on the priority line because there are other things in life. There are so many other things that you're dealing with, and it's easy for you to put sex in the back burner. Bottom line is, it's important to make time for your spouse, even if you don't feel like it, and to create good habits in pursuing intimacy, especially in the beginning, so that you can have those habits for when you need them. Oh, okay. If you guys have anything else to say about that, please put them in the comments down below. And number 5, this is really important, just being in a relationship in general, but ultimately when you're married, I think it's very important to remember, because you are with this person for the rest of your life. You're never gonna find a perfect person for you. If anything, there's always gonna be another person that you think is a better fit for you than the person that you're with. 10 years down the line, maybe you have some bitterness towards your spouse, okay? They've seen you at your worst, you've seen them at their worst. They have pursued you a little bit less. They don't desire you as much as they did when you first started dating. But then you see someone at work or you see someone at the gym that is eyeing you and that's giving you all this attention. Well, think about it. Of course they're giving you all this attention because you're new to them. So of course it's gonna feel like it's so much better than what you currently have. That thing that seems so new and desirable is not gonna be better than what you have, because what you have is years and years built on love and commitment and this beautiful thing that you can't have with anybody else. I don't know, I think I know myself enough to realize I need to guard my heart in those areas. If I let myself wander, if I let my heart wander, thinking that it's no big deal and just having a bunch of friends that are, you know, guys, and hang out with them alone or hang out with them without my husband, that's like really dangerous territory. Being honest with yourself as a human, knowing that you're capable of anything and that you're not exempt from any sin is so important, because you're not gonna put yourself in situations where bad things can happen. I think something that's really helped me understand Alec more and understand myself more has been personality, typology, that kind of stuff, Myers-Briggs, and then also the Enneagram. You're in a relationship or marriage and you wanna learn more about yourself and your spouse, then I would definitely look into those, because it's helped me like have better perspective on why Alec does what he does and why he is how he is and why he's not the same as me, kind of thing. My camera's actually about to die, so I think I should end this video soon. I love talking about marriage and relationships. I feel very passionate about it. And my camera just died. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and let me know if you want to see more like this. You can put some video suggestions down below, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye guys.